Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars review. Today we'll be looking at set number 75345, 501st Clone Troopers Battle Pack, also known as the 501st Battle Pack 2.0. This set includes 119 pieces, retails for the price of $19.99 in the US when it released January 1st of 2023. Now there has been a lot of talk about this set, specifically when it comes to the render, where LEGO put the rangefinder in the wrong spot. It's where it's actually supposed to be in universe, which is just really terrible that they did that. This is not only on the box, but it's on the instructions and on the official product images. I did actually correct it myself in Photoshop, which I think is really funny. Such a simple fix that I doubt LEGO's going to do. Now for the rest of the box art, you get your orange stripe from the corner to represent the Clone Wars, so I guess the prequel stuff that LEGO likes to release. We now no longer have the Ahsoka Clone Trooper in the corner, that's because it's no longer on shelves. But when it comes to the minifigures included in this set, they are slightly based off the Battlefront 2 video game. Though we do happen to get Clone Wars back art, so it is just really confusing. And this set is also branded for 20 years of Clone Wars, which is celebrating the 2003 special and not the 2008, even though we are actually celebrating the anniversary of that this year as well. It's sort of like mixing both of them up. It's just really weird when it comes to continuity wise and such. It's just something that I have to point out. But as a whole, I think a lot of people are really happy that they're making more clone sets. Honestly, I just would love to switch out the clones that we got in this one for the ones that we got in the last pack, because that I think would have been much better when it comes to army building, especially at a $20 price point. From the very back, you get another look at the set and your push tab, as it is a $20 set. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Included in the box are actually 3 unnumbered bags, one of which including all the range finders and the visors, and of course we happen to get our instruction manual, which will follow the same style with the ugly render. From the back you get your Win robot, no more Darth Vader from the back I suppose, piece count for 2 pages, another additional page leading to a Rebuild the World advertisement, as well as one for the 2 other sets that released alongside this one, the Slave One Microfighter. If you don't have that Boba Fett, that's a good deal. And we also get the TIE Bomber, which is for 40 years of Return of the Jedi, which is kind of confusing considering the minifigure selection, and the vehicle isn't really seen very much in that, but it is what it is. It's a nice set. I bet a lot of people are really going to enjoy that one, especially since we haven't seen it since 2003. Within this set, we get 3 new clone variants, different to the ones that we saw in the first 501st Battle Pack back in 2020. Starting off with the 501st Clone Specialist, this figure includes 1 brand new mold, which really surprised me, for the macro binoculars. Now this is a new piece that can be attached with those holes in the helmet, which is the same mold that we saw last year in the ATTE. This can be lifted up and down on your minifigure. I'll also show that from the front, just so then you can see that. Unfortunately, there isn't any printing. I would have liked to have maybe seen like a black line there just to show where like the eyes would be coming out or something. That's really my only complaint. Otherwise, it's a really nice new mold, and it's great to see LEGO making new molds for Clone Troopers, despite the fact that I guess the helmet holes still just aren't what people really want for these figures. Now for the rest of the design, we get a brand new torso print for this specific character, where we get some extra yellow markings there. Blue arms, black hands for some gloves, same legs that we saw back in 2020. Long gun with a candle at the very end, which I like. And then the back printing, which should be similar to other clones that we've seen in the past. Facial expression, again from 2020 at that original 501st Battle Pack, with the flesh tone specific to the clone minifigures. Next up, we have the 501st Officer, who utilizes that rangefinder piece that was introduced back in 2008, but this time in blue for the very first time. We get the same exact helmet print that we saw for our last figure, same mold that was introduced in the ATTE, where you get those holes that are not in the place where people really want them. They're above where they should be. Another thing that I have to minorly complain about when it comes to the design of this figure is that we get the printing for the waist cape from the front. but we don't get any side leg printing. That was really the one thing that LEGO could have done to save this figure. Otherwise, you know, it's just, again, why aren't they using the cape pieces that they made for them? Maybe it's too expensive. Again, I just wish that this figure had side leg printing. That would have really saved it, just because it looks really ugly and just dumb from the very front that you only get the front printing for that. Looking at the torso print, it is different compared to the last figure, and different to the next figure that we'll be looking at. Back printing is very similar to our last figure, however we get more blue markings instead of just the plain black and white that you'll see on all regular clones. And finally, we have one of two heavy troopers included in this set. These utilize this visor piece in blue for the very first time. That piece was introduced back in 2008, and they're continuing to use it to this day, it seems. I do like that this covers up the holes just because they look very ugly. That's at least one bonus. Helmet print is different compared to the last two figures that we got, where we get some different markings when it comes to the helmet. I'll bring this guy over so you can see the difference in the helmet design, and these helmets are different compared to the ones that we got in 2020. New torso print for this figure, where you get markings for the side satchel, which I wish would have been printed on maybe like the side of the leg. I think that would have been nice, though the legs are the same ones that we got back in 2020. The one thing that I do have to appreciate about this figure is the fact that we get an extra printed piece from the very back on that 1x1 tile for a backpack. I think that works very well. And you also get some special printing just to show the continuation of that backpack from the very back using that under the neck accessory. Again, when it comes to these figures, they all have the same exact facial expression for the clones that was introduced back in 2020, that unique flesh tone, which I really like seeing used on all these figures. Great that they finally found something that they could stick with, hopefully for a while. And I also have to point out when it comes to these weapons, that we have a design that we've been using for quite some time, that I think many people have already pointed out is inaccurate to what the weapons would normally look like for these guys, but it is what it is. LEGO can only do so much when it comes to that kind of stuff. Now, the build included alongside your clone troopers is for a vehicle that we actually saw back in 2014, that being the AV-7 anti-vehicle cannon. Now, of course, this is a lot smaller than the one that we got in 2014, and I think LEGO did a nice job sizing it down. I think it works very well and is something, I guess, that's accurate to the source material in some sense, that it's a vehicle that's in the Star Wars universe and not just some random cannon build that they're included alongside these figures. From the very bottom, we get some clip piece connections in order to create the legs, which you can swing side to side to adjust, and we get some other clip pieces so you can adjust them in the middle. Also have to point out these slope pieces being used from the very bottom, which aren't too common to get in that color. We use the same design all around. You get 4 of them that you can spread out in order to help position the vehicle. We also happen to get a trans clear piece from the very bottom, just for extra support, so if you push down on it, it won't really go anywhere and it won't break the stability of the legs. As a whole, we get a color scheme of light gray, dark gray, and black, but we have a little bit of dark red, that Republic color, which I think helps. We also get a little bit of yellow, which is a little odd, but nothing that can't be removed if you don't like it. We also get a small spot in order to sit one of your minifigures. We get a great piece and a leg separator that allows you to sit your minifigure right next to the vehicle. We don't get any control panels, which is something that I think would have been nice to see here, but I guess this does leave his hands free in order to actually use his own gun. Now on to the cannon build itself. It's not too long, it's not too short, it's pretty much the right size that anyone would really want for one of these. We get some clip piece connections at the base, which are a little noisy unfortunately, that allow you to add some posability. I'll just move it now. Again, I think that noise might just be because it's a tight fit, probably something you can fix, not something to really worry about. Now the very last thing in which you can do with your cannon is actually fire off a rapid fire shooter. All you gotta do is press down, and it'll go hit the wall and now never to be found somewhere behind me. You do happen to get an extra in order to reload it if you misplace it. So overall, for $20, is this set worth it? I mean, for the minifigures, of course it is. Any clone minifigures we can get out of LEGO is amazing. Even if they aren't completely the way that we want them, they still look really cool. Lots of great prints across the board, even a brand new mold introduced for one of them. I know the holes in the side of the helmets is still a thing that many people are going to complain about. We'll see if LEGO fixes that in the future or not. We'll have to wait and see. As far as the build goes for this set, it's probably one of the better builds that we've gotten for a battle pack. I think a lot of people will really like it, especially since it's something that we've seen before within the Star Wars universe. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, what your thoughts are on this set. Also remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to know when I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!